Well, the early years of firefighting in the city of Burbank was a largely rural area, lots of ranch land, and firefighting was done on a volunteer basis. And there was a bell purchased by the city of Burbank, and it was put on a hose drying tower near downtown Burbank. And when there was a fire, that bell was rung. And all the volunteers, all the homeowners that volunteered to be firefighters would come to where the bell was, and there was a hose cart. And this hose cart contained firefighting equipment of the day: hoses, ladders, axes, some length of fire hose, and they would collect that hose cart, and it could either be drawn by a horse, by an automobile, or just pulled, and off they would go and off to do their firefighting. Through the period of 1913 through about 1924, we had a part paid, part volunteer fire service, and right around the era of 1925 to 27, we became a fully paid fire department with 14 personnel. The city was able to have bond measures that gave us 3 fire stations, 2 fire engines. Now back then, this was a hose pumper that pumped 250 gallons a minute and cost about $6,500. Some of our significant fires we've experienced have been at the airport terminals that we've had in the 30s and the 50s. We also have had significant fires at the Warner Brothers Studios, and we've assisted LA City at Universal Studios on 2 different occasions in the past 25 years. We also have a very rich history in emergency medical response. And in 1974, we sent 9 firefighters to the Los Angeles County Paramedic Training Institute to become dual-function paramedic firefighters. And that started our tradition of paramedic firefighting and providing paramedic advanced life support in the city of Burbank. Another milestone for us is our collaboration with the cities of Glendale and Pasadena and Verdugo Fire Communications. This started in 1979 by the 3 fire chiefs at the time, and the vision was to create a mode of dispatch and seamless emergency response where borders were not an issue and the closest resource responded to the emergency. And that's evolved now in 30 years, where we've included 8 other jurisdictions within Area C, so we really have about 12 different jurisdictions that provide unified response, which is a method of seamless collaboration across borders that provide a very efficient 911 service. One significant piece of history is, you know, in the fire service, the Medal of Valor is not given off very often. And the first time in my 26th career that I remember it being given out was to engineer Ron Perlman, who is still on the job today. He's one of our fire prevention engineers. At the time, in 1990, he was a firefighter working on Engine 13. And there was an emergency response of a man hanging out at Naomi in Station 13's district. Well, as our units arrived and Ron arrived as a firefighter, he realized that as he went into this apartment, second-story apartment, there was a distraught husband who had been in an altercation with his wife. He had taken his 4-month-old baby and went out to the balcony of this apartment and was hanging the baby over the balcony. Well, firefighter Pullman at the time, not taking into account his own personal safety, rushed through and went and grabbed the baby, basically almost diving over the balcony, at which point 2 Burbank police officers, Reeve Ricard and Bobby Schwartz, grabbed Ron so he wouldn't fall over the balcony, and thus they saved this baby's life. You know, I've told you a few historical stories, and I certainly can't give you all of them off of my memory. But the fire department has recently launched our new website, burbankfire.us. And I encourage you to go there because we did this in conjunction with our centennial celebration. And once you click into the website and you go into the centennial section, there is a large piece of history documented and written on our history, on historical events, as well as a number of historical pictures that really tell the story of the Burbank Fire Department. And it's well worth the time spent to go in and give us a look.